Today we woke up with beautiful weather. Look at that. Wow.
What you looking at my ass for? Nah, yo, hold my poodle. Hold my poodle. Hey, yo.
Today is January 17th. Yesterday I was fighting sleep like I'm fighting demons every day. And it might have been the 6 cheese quesadillas that I ate. They're toasty enough like that. Ow. But no, I was really sleepy before that. No, that's not what it was. Today we're going to be choosing what to draw from Pinterest. And depending on how I'm feeling is what you'll see. And we're making good progress on Project Hail Mary.
Update. Chapter 15 of 30.
Anyways, I'm gonna get started now. I tried my best to zoom in to give credit to this artist. And Pinterest is really hard to pinpoint who did it first because it gets reposted so much. So that's another thing. If you're gonna do your art, make sure you sign it. I sign it so big, so many times. It's a little bit crazy. Yeah, I always start with a little circle and then I sort of guide myself in where I'm gonna put the eyes, and from the eyes, I figure the rest, the ears and the little arms and the little body. But I always start with the head and the eyes and the face. Um, I'm gonna start very lightly. You can do this as like a final work, you can pick a different thing to draw, but I decided to start with this as a warm up because I thought it was really cute and simple. And I did rush through it, but that's usually how it goes when I'm warming up. I'm kind of just trying to get my brain and my hand in sync. So that's what I'm doing. And a lot of the times people ask me, like, okay, if I want to get better at art, what do I do? And honestly, it's just patience. I know it sucks, but it's just taking your time. It's a lot of layering. It's a lot of purposefully put, placed lines, whatever. It's a lot of purpose in your lines. It's a lot of thought in a light hand. That's really what it is. Honestly, like this cat, for example, could have turned out 100 times better if I went with a lighter hand and took my time and did all that. But I didn't, and that's fine. So it's really just syncing your brain to your hand and your eyes, kind of figuring out where you're gonna do what. A lot of the times, honestly, I've also seen people who have certain disabilities who are amazing at art. They're like 1,000 million times better than me. And it's really just the passion, how you feel about it. I'm going in with a slightly heavier layer now. I got my sketching out of the way and now I'm just going to finish up this drawing by putting little stars here and there. I would like to know what your guys' process is. I like to kind of treat my pen like a pencil. It's all I do. I don't use erasers anymore, and that was something that I wanted to do very early on because as much as I love my colorful tools and I like watercolor, paints, everything, color pencils, I love it. But I think I fell in love with sketching and mimicking a pencil. And the closest thing that I ever got into a regular pencil is this specific line of pens. I cannot stress that enough. They're my favorite thing. And right now, especially like the last 2, 3 years, I'd say the last 2, 3 years, yeah. All I've been carrying around is this. And they're perfect for whatever type of paper I want to use. I don't care what paper it is. As long as it's smooth enough, it works. So yeah, you'll see I'm starting to do a little bit of a heavier layer on the eyes, and I'm going to be layering for quite a while, so just know that that's what I'm doing. Originally, I was planning on pitching this pen to you, um, but then I sort of got tired of it. I changed my mind because I feel like that'll come with time. I can't convince you in one video of just how much this specific tool means to me and the type of person that I am. I think everything comes with time. You'll get to know my personality and why it makes sense. Um, I've used very expensive tools, very messy tools, and I can't explain it. I guess it's just the type of person that I am. I have a lot of hobbies, a lot of things that make me happy, and that's also on purpose. So sometimes I don't like to carry many things in my bag, and I just want to get started. So another thing is that I just want people to draw without worrying too much about the price. So that's also why I choose this over and over again. All right. Now with this little alien, I did take my time a little bit more. Again, I could have taken my time even more, but every time a camera turns on and I have to angle myself a certain way to draw, um, it's a skill. Like I'm working on it as well. Everything is a skill that needs to be refined. And right now, I get a little bit nervous. The camera makes me nervous, especially when it comes to my lines, because I zone out. Like I like when I draw, I like to zone out. And if I'm recording, I'm constantly worried about the lighting, the angles. You already know, you probably heard many people say this, but it does change something in your psyche knowing that you're being recorded and like thinking of storage as well. Um changing the angles, like you're disrupting flow, and you need flow in order to, I think, create your best work. So a lot of my favorite pieces, a lot of my favorite art that I make, or that I made this month at least, has been offline, like every time. And that's fine because we're working on it, you know. You may think maybe that I've reached a certain level of, I don't know, confidence when it comes to my pens and like my lines, but there's levels to everything. And I'm working on getting better on camera. You might be perfect on camera and not be nervous to draw and be filmed, but that's just not the case for me. And if you're wondering, like, oh, how long until I get better? How long? Honestly, a lot of the getting better at, at anything is embracing it and actually enjoying it. What is the thought process behind what you do? Like, what is your philosophy? For me, you know, like, even as I'm making these lines, this little straw, I could have placed it wrong. Maybe it doesn't look like I wanted it to look. You wouldn't know, you know. Art is very personal, but I think the power comes when you already decided how you're going to feel regardless of the result. Which is why I also feel like no one can tell you how to feel if you've already decided. I decided to ditch the eraser because I don't want to overthink my mistakes, and I don't want to think of, if I'm making a line, for example, I've already made it. It's sort of like life. Okay, it's really hard to go back and redo things, so you try to be as conscious as possible without spiraling out of control. So, I've already decided that every single practice, every single time that I actually sit down, when I'm doodling in the car and it's messy, to work on my temper, to not see it as a waste, because it's never gonna be a waste. Um, we're gonna get a little sciencey if it helps, like getting into the science of what drawing is. It is just hand-eye coordination. It's like any other sport. It is no different. If you practice catching Ebola, you may have natural, what is that called, talent, right? It may come easier to you to shoot a basketball and aim, but it really is just hand-eye coordination and repetition. It is no different. So while you're worried about like, oh, this person's better than me, this person's better than me, blah blah blah, maybe you're not. Maybe you are healthier in that way. And I hope that you are, that you don't feel bad about every single mistake. But originally I wanted to talk more about that because I feel like what 1000% of the time stops people from even trying to get good at art is outside opinions, the inside opinions of themselves, and the impatience and the lack of psychology behind their approach. Basically, like their intention. Maybe you're looking at certain artists and you're like, wow, I want to be that way and I want my art to look like that. But you never know if your art could actually look better. I know that sounds crazy, but like you might be there's so many artists that I look at that I'm like, wow. Especially back then, I'm like, wow, one day, like, I would love for my art to look like that and my lines to be so smooth. And I gotta say, I've actually walked away from a lot of those styles and I found my own, like, the way that I like it. And you start falling in love with your hands. Like, you start falling in love with your eyes. You start falling in love with the way that you make your lines. And when that happens, nobody can really tell you how to feel about your art. I think a lot of the times it's like everything, confidence, self-confidence, and the lack of it is what stops you from trying out loud. And truth be told, for most of my for most of the things that I do, I keep them to myself. And then I let the things show. Like if people see them, okay, cool. But I'm gonna do this for me first. And then if you feel like sharing, then you feel like sharing. If people want to be nosy, then they want to be nosy. But you don't have to share and you don't have to make it about them. I think you should spend the most time getting to know yourself, falling in love with your quote unquote, maybe reframe it and don't call it mistakes, just call it mileage. Like you're no one's taking that away from you. No one can take away your practice. No one can take away what you do in private. So do that. Build your confidence first. And I guess I am not really talking to you right now. I'm talking to my younger self because everything that I believed to be true turned out to be true. So if anyone out there is struggling with anything I've said and trying to decide between 1,000 different sketchbooks and what is the best pen and the best pencil, that is what I would tell you. And it wouldn't be a lie. I believed it then and I proved it now. So I really hope you just go ahead and try. Do your best. Do your thing. Have fun. Oh yeah, and my name is Hugh Clouds.
Well, this has been fun. I will see you next time. Peace.
It's crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious.